What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sterling from ENT, and welcome back to ENT Fantasy Football. Now, I know it's been a minute since we've dropped a video, about a week or so, but don't worry, guys, we're dropping videos all the time now, and this one's going to be a banger for you. This is our Week 15 waivers / fantasy football playoffs waivers. So these are players that should be on waivers that you can pick up, and they're going to help you with your push for the fantasy football playoffs. Now, this is Week 15, so playoffs for fantasy are starting this week. So these are players that are going to help you, so go pick them up. But before we get into our first player, I want you guys to go down below, like and subscribe, and I want you to go to, if you're interested in this, if you're interested in watching basketball content, go to ENT Basketball. It's a channel just like this one. We're talking about basketball. So go down below, go to that channel, all that good stuff. But let's get into our first pickup without further ado. The first player I'd like to talk about on today's list is the Seattle Seahawks running back Rashaad Penny. Now, earlier in the season, Chris Carson went down with an injury, and the Seahawks looked to veteran running back Alex Collins to fill that RB1 role on their team. And even though Collins had some good games here and there, most of the season he played pretty mediocre, if we're being honest. He played pretty mediocre, and he didn't play up to those standards the Seahawks wanted as their RB1. So after a few more weeks of some mediocre play from Alex Collins, the Seahawks looked to Rashaad Penny to step into that RB1 role this past week against the Texans. He carried the ball 16 times for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. So obviously we know earlier in his career, Rashaad Penny was a first-round pick. He was pretty much projected to be doing things like this in his career. He hasn't really lived up to it yet, but this could possibly be Rashaad Penny's chance. Obviously, I don't think he's going to all of a sudden take off and just be this crazy killer running back, but I think for the rest of the season, in this RB1 role with the Seahawks, I think Rashaad Penny can be a solid mid to low-end RB2 for you. He's on a solid offense. Pete Carroll has come out and said that they're going to roll with Rashaad Penny moving forward to see if he can spark up anything in that running back room. He's the only running back that they have right now that has shown flashes of any sort of elusiveness or agility or big play potential. And so I think moving forward, Rashaad Penny, he could be a solid mid to low-end RB2. And at this point in the season, with all the running backs injuries that are happening, if you have a guy like Darrell Henderson, if you have a guy like Myles Gaskin who just got put on COVID list, all these running backs are going down left and right and missing time. Rashaad Penny is a great pickup for you. With 12 targets in each of the last 2 games, Amon-Ra St. Brown has emerged as the clear-cut number 1 receiver on the Lions. And for this reason, Amon-Ra St. Brown is my number 2 pickup of this week. So as I just mentioned, 12 targets in each of the last 2 games. Amon-Ra St. Brown is being hyper-targeted recently. And this is not just the last 2 games. Since the Lions bye week in Week 9, he's averaged 7 targets a game. So he's being targeted a lot. He's the most targeted person on that offense. And he looks like he's emerging as the number 1 receiver on that offense. These last 2 games, the rookie has broken out against the Vikings, was his first really big game. And then this past week against the Broncos, he had another really good game. So I think this is going to continue. There's some unforeseen potential here with Amon-Ra St. Brown. As I mentioned, he's a rookie, 4th-round rookie at a USC. And Jared Goff has been looking a lot better as a passer these last 2 games, and the offense as a whole has been looking like it's been making progression recently. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's a rookie. We haven't seen what he's capable of yet. He's on a team where he's always going to have positive game scripts. They're always going to be throwing the ball. So Jared Goff looks like he has a solid connection with Amon-Ra St. Brown. So my number 2 pickup for this week is Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I can see this little stretch that St. Brown is on right now continuing. This 2-game stretch that he's on, I can see it continuing for the rest of the season, and I think St. Brown can be a real breakout contender over these next few weeks. The first quarterback and only quarterback of this list is going to be the New Orleans Saints quarterback Taysom Hill. Now, I've talked about Taysom Hill quite a bit on this channel, and obviously a lot of people know about Taysom Hill and what he brings to the table from a fantasy football perspective, but Taysom Hill is somehow still out there. As of the recording of this video, he's still available in 48% of Yahoo leagues. So if he's available and you need a quarterback for your final stretch of your fantasy football season, pick up Taysom Hill, please. Over the last 2 weeks, he's averaging 27.5 fantasy points a game. So the 2 games that he started this season, he's averaging 27.5 fantasy points. He's got his floor. Obviously, we know what Taysom Hill brings to the table, the rushing upside, the rushing touchdown upside. This past week, he had 2 rushing touchdowns. So he's honestly a cheat code. If you can pick up Taysom Hill, please do it. He's going to make you happy with the results that he gives you. I remember last season when somehow, some way, in Yahoo leagues, he was available as a tight end. So you could play him as a tight end. Thankfully, they got rid of that. But he's always been a cheat code for fantasy purposes. So pick up Taysom Hill. You can honestly start him. He's got a solid upcoming schedule for the playoffs. So start Taysom Hill. Pick him up. Do what you got to do. Taysom Hill's my next pickup. And the final pickup of this video is going to be another wide receiver, and it's the Miami Dolphins wide receiver, DeVante Parker. Now, over the course of this season, when Parker has been on the field, he's been great. He's averaging 8 targets a game, and even though he's missed some time here and there, every time he returns, he gets targeted. For example, Week 8, he had just missed the prior 3 weeks with injury. Week 8, he comes back into the lineup, already stepped back into 11 targets that game. So he's going to be targeted no matter what. This past week, he only had 5 targets, but still, he caught all 5 passes and had a solid day. So DeVante Parker, obviously we all know how talented DeVante Parker is. We've seen what he's done this season in his limited work. We've seen what he's done in prior seasons. And so we know the potential of DeVante Parker and what he can be on the field. It's just that he hasn't been on the field this season, and that's why he's on waiver wires. So if he's on your waiver wire, now that DeVante Parker is healthy, please go pick him up. He's averaging 8 targets a game. He has a solid floor with a decent ceiling. If he catches a touchdown, maybe catches a long ball here and there. Offense has been clicking lately, and Tua as a passer has gotten much, much more improved this season. He's very accurate with the football, and DeVante Parker with Jalen Waddle taking more pressure off him, and them, they can be a really nice 1-2 combo. They can be a great 1-2 punch for the Dolphins wide receivers. So pick up DeVante Parker because whenever he's been on the field this season, he's been great, and he's finally back on the field this season. So pick him up. I probably wouldn't play him just yet, but hang on to him. He can be a solid low-end wide receiver too for the rest of the season, which for fantasy purposes right now in the playoffs with all the injuries that we've been getting, for example, if you have DeAndre Hopkins, if you have all these wide receivers who have been getting injured, pick up DeVante Parker if he's out there, and he is out there. He's out there on a lot of waiver wires right now. So pick him up, and he'll help you out a lot. And that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching the whole video. Go pick up these 4 players. They're going to help you a lot for this final stretch of the fantasy playoffs. And make sure you go down below, like and subscribe. Subscribe to ENT Basketball if you're interested in basketball. Like I said before, I'll leave a link in the description for that. So without further ado, guys, I'm out of here.